Hello. This is episode 17 of Real Talk. Another episode in the desert. I filmed these in the same day, so be patient with me. Before I even start, this does not get easier talking to a camera. Whether it's feeling weird about talking down into the barrel of a lens or getting used to people just like walking around me. I'm filming this in the parking lot of a gym right now, and there's like people that'll walk by and they're just like staring at me because it's weird that I'm talking to the camera. You probably saw in the last episode, I don't know if we cut it out or not, but somebody just walked straight behind the camera and they're like, is it okay if I go? It's like, yeah, it's fine. Like, I don't care. You can walk behind me for all I care. But it's so weird. I'm sitting here just like talking to myself into a microphone, and people are just finishing up their workouts, going about their lives, and they're like, why is this dude sitting in the middle of a desert talking to himself? But I guess I'm not talking to myself completely. I'm talking to you guys. So I appreciate you watching. So today we are going to talk about a touchy subject in the photography industry. That being getting paid in exposure. There's a time and place for everything, and believe it or not, there's a time and place that it's okay to get paid in exposure. There's a time and place that you need to do these things for free to level up in your skill. There are sometimes gigs that you shouldn't turn down because of the money. The money will come. You know, everyone wants to chase the bag, but it's not always worth it. Sometimes you need to do these things for free because then maybe they'll connect you with different people. Maybe in the future, whenever they have budgets, they'll be able to give you more of a budget. They'll be able to give you a budget, period. So the title of this reel, I believe, was, when is it okay to get paid in exposure? There is a time and a place. The first thing that jumps out to me is whenever you're starting out. When you're starting out, you might listen to a lot of podcasts on photography. You might watch a lot of different YouTube videos on photography, and people always talk down on doing things for exposure, but I bet you all of those people did it. That's why it's kind of an ongoing joke, is because it's like you'll be talking to a client. The client will be like, hey, can you shoot for me? Yeah, sure. I can shoot for you. What's your budget? Well, so I don't have much of a budget, but like I got 100,000 followers on Instagram. Like, I'll definitely tag you, and like the exposure will be amazing. And then you're like, oh, come on now. Like, I don't want to do that. And they're like, oh, but like we really need this project. And then the photographer infamously responds, all right, what day do you want to shoot? And while that's not the ideal situation, we've all done it. We've all been there. We all go through these learning experiences, the learning curve of finding that line between getting paid enough money and enjoying what you do. Whenever you're starting out, one of the main things you want to do is just use your camera every day. You want to use your camera as much as you possibly can because it'll help. You know, whenever you actually use your camera, you learn it better. You might learn different settings better. You learn just different scenarios whenever you're shooting, different things that work better. There's no other way of learning that than to be out there getting real world experience. It's a big reason why I'm not a big advocate on film school. I think that you're better off getting out there and doing something that is going to expand how you think, and getting out there and making a mistake. You know, you're going to go to a shoot and realize that you forgot some equipment. You're going to get to a shoot and realize that like you can't do something. But the only way that you can really notice that and learn from it is if it happens. So whenever you're coming up, there's a lot of scenarios where friends want to shoot. And there's a lot of scenarios where family friends will want you to do things for them. Or even the occasional time where you meet somebody and they see your work and they're like, oh, this is decent. Like, he's passionate about it. Like, let's give him a chance. Whenever you're still at that, like, let's give him a chance time in your career, it's hard to get that nice paid work, and that's where the exposure comes in. You need to build a portfolio to actually work in the industry. Whenever you're trying to charge these big numbers for these nice clients, you need to be able to show them some work. If you want to shoot an event, you need to have event photography as part of your portfolio. That's where exposure comes in handy. You might be able to gain a following because of this exposure. Well, obviously, getting exposure, it's not a currency. You're not going to get that much out of it. You can get something out of it. It might be that one follower that hits you up and changes your life because they give you an amazing opportunity. It might be a photographer tagging you in a post, and then you get exposed to a whole nother network of photographers. That's very, very valuable. I found that a lot of my best relationships have come whenever I've worked with other photographers and they've introduced me to other people. Whenever you meet other photographers, it is really helpful. Whenever you're doing things for exposure or you're doing jobs for free, you're going to meet people. And as long as you navigate those relationships correctly, it can work to your advantage. It can actually help you out a lot more in the long run. There's definitely a stigma around doing work for free, but sometimes you have to. Sometimes you just don't have a choice, but that's okay. Everyone learns from it. You'll learn the different kinds of people that you want to work with. You'll learn the different kinds of people that you want to stay away from. Myself and a lot of different people that I know have been in these situations where they're starting out, whether they're starting their company or they are just trying to get more work. They've been in these situations where the client promises so much but doesn't give anything. You'll shoot a project and they'll be like, oh, the budget was actually a lot lower for this one, but the next one, man, the next one will be massive. It doesn't happen like that. If that's the case, they're gonna be transparent with you about it. If they're not telling you until after the gig and they're just promising so much but never end up giving, be wary of that. Be careful, because that can end up harming you in the long run. Another time whenever it's good to do something for exposure is those times where you can make those good relationships. So you might not even be starting out. I have been in the industry for a couple years now. I still do things for free. Not as much, but sometimes I do. I do things for free whenever I see it as a path to an industry that maybe I want to tap into. So I'll still shoot concerts for free from time to time. I have a passion for concert photography and live music, and that's a space that I want to get into as time passes. And in the future, I want to do that more often. But there's not a ton of money in the space at first. You definitely can make money in the space, but it's tough to ask for those big numbers right away. So if somebody hits me up and asks me to shoot a concert, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do what I can do to get a nice portfolio on my end, while obviously turning around what they are hiring me to do. I want to give them the final product that they were looking for, no matter what the money was. I think that a lot of times you can make these good relationships, and a good way of making these relationships is having a beginning time and an end time for you to shoot, right? And then delivering fast. Whenever you're trying to develop those early relationships, you're trying to find an early clientele, a way you can separate yourself, and I've mentioned this a million times, is delivering the content fast. Whenever you deliver it fast, it's also off of your plate. Then there's nothing else hanging over your head. I find that I get burnt out very quickly whenever I have projects piling up. There's no better feeling than whenever you're like, wow, I actually don't have anything to edit right now. Because then you can take on more projects. Whenever I am just shooting, and then I sit down and I have so many projects to edit, I have clients hit me up like, hey, like, where's this video? It's a terrible feeling, and honestly, it's really bad for the relationship with them. So turn it around fast. It'll help you out, and it'll help that relationship. They'll call you back next time. They'll be like, hey, I know that you turn things around fast, and we actually need this video in 2 days, so we need to shoot and edit in 2 days. And they call you because they know that you're capable of it. You've done it before, so they know that there's a chance that you can obviously do it once again. That's a really good reputation to have, because you're reliable then. You have set a standard, and that can be annoying sometimes, because sometimes you feel like you have to work all the time because you set that quick turnaround standard. But especially in the real estate space, which is a space that I have a decent amount of experience in, turnaround times are massive. A lot of people can make similar videos. I think my videos, and obviously that is Drone Hub's videos, they're different than a lot of the other companies. I genuinely think it's the top of the industry. There's nobody doing it better. But something that we do even better than the quality of our videos is our fast turnarounds. So we have them done. It's almost always like a 24 to 48 hour turnaround. There's a couple editors in the office, and we give the footage to them and they edit it immediately. And that is all about them cranking out the videos as fast as they can, while obviously maintaining the quality that is our standard at this point. So exposure comes down to just knowing what is right for you. If it's just getting a portfolio, take it all. It might be hard at first, it might be annoying at first that you're not making that much money, but take all of the gigs. If you're at a point that I'm at, where you don't necessarily need to build a portfolio, you already have a portfolio, use it sparingly. Sometimes you want to build a portfolio in a new industry, so take the gig then. Sometimes you will just be trying to make that good relationship, do it then. Maybe it's just an opportunity that you think is cool, but they don't have that much money. Do it because you'll be passionate about it. There's a weird thing that happens whenever you just have that passion when you wake up in the morning. Whenever you're like genuinely happy with what you're doing. It's a hard thing to put your finger on, because like there's no one way you can be happy. Everyone's is different. But until you actually realize it, it sounds like BS. But whenever you are working on projects that you really enjoy, whenever you are working with people that you really enjoy, whenever there's just like that drive to wake up in the morning, it feels so good. And part of that for me is doing things and shoots that I enjoy. Unfortunately, a lot of the time, these shoots don't pay that much. If you are in the sports space, that's a perfect example. The sport photography is awesome. I really enjoy it. But there's not many people out there paying a lot for sports photography. I want to do it. Everyone else wants to do it. So these businesses, rightfully so, realize that they can get it for a cheap price. How you can differentiate yourself is proving that your quality of work is worth the amount of money. So maybe do a couple things for free, maybe do it for that low budget that they're offering, and then say, hey, you've clearly seen that my work's better than a lot of people. I need more money. It's okay then, because then you have work to show for it. You have a reputation to show for it. But whenever you are doing sports photography a lot and you start out, you're going to get like screwed over a little bit. And that sucks, and I hate to say that, but there's just not that much money in it at first. There's so many like 17-year-old kids out there trying to just get into a football game for free. There's so many people wanting to like shoot these top high school basketball prospects, and they'll do it for free. They want to do it for their own content so they can post it. And that's okay. But if you have a sports portfolio, then you'll get the calls from the bigger people. Instead of getting a call from a small publication, you'll get a call from the NFL. You'll get a call from the NBA. You'll get a call from Nike. Something like that. These big people, these big players in the game that have a lot of money, the money that you deserve. So, exposure is okay. Getting paid in exposure is a great thing. It's not the best, but you have to do it. We've all done it. We've all done things for free. And that's what comes with the industry. We get into it because we're passionate about it. We get into it because we genuinely want to use our camera. That's why a lot of people end up taking advantage of us. It's a hard rope to walk because we want to be out there. We want to be shooting these cool events, but know your worth. If you don't think it's good to do it for exposure, don't do it. You're not going to lose a lot out of it. At the end of the day, if somebody values your work, they're going to want to pay you. If somebody values your work, they value your presence, they value your time, they're going to pay you for it. But the only way you find those good clients is getting out there and proving that you are worth it and proving that you can accomplish these great things that you promise to the client. So, with that being said, get out there, do what you love, keep doing what you love. Just trust your gut. It'll steer you in the right direction. And have a great day. I will see you guys in the next episode. Hopefully I'll be back in Chicago for it because, I don't know, I don't really like this desert vibe. It's so dry out here and everything just feels so artificial. It makes me realize I love Chicago, so maybe I'll be sticking around there for a little bit. All right. Have a great day. Peace out.